everybody, this is Sarahscopic and you're watching Traffic Musings. Thanks again for your patience with me in this show and stuff like that. And yeah, that's all I really gotta say on that matter. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that before I begin my show. So yeah, I got a ticket last weekend. I was driving too fast. The cop saw me. I tried to do the slow down, but he was already coming for me. So I pulled over and got it, that all worked out. I'm not gonna actually say more on the subject. I just wanted to mention it because I knew it would make a good clickbait title. So, sorry guys, I tricked you with my clickbait title. That's clickbait titles do. But I did get a ticket, that's true. I'm just not gonna speak more on it because, it is technically a legal issue, not that anything's really gonna happen from it, but don't worry, it all worked out, it's gonna be okay. It helps being a white woman sometimes. Oh, privilege. All right, let's move on now. So, in other words, I also had my final grad school class today, so that was fun. It's a class that was on a Monday morning, and I also had nothing due, and it was just a student presentations. For all intents and purposes, I should have skipped. Quite honestly, judging by what it would have been the perfect class to skip, but I really didn't want to because I'm just way too much of a goody two-shoes. I think there's some people out there that have these kinds of feelings that I do, where it's like, you don't skip something unless you're like literally immobile or just going to be, what's the word I'm looking for? People contagious. That's the word I'm looking for. Unless you're like super contagious. I don't skip classes very often. I really try not to. In fact, the only reason I ever skipped any classes in my grad school career was when my sciatica would act up. And there was one class I skipped. I was late to one class, and I skipped like two other classes. And one of them happened to be because I had a job interview, well, an internship interview, and I didn't get the internship, so that was a waste of time. But otherwise, it was just because my sciatica acting up. But literally, I don't skip class unless I'm immobile. And that was true in my undergrad career too. I'm trying to think of why I ever skipped class. Okay, there were a couple classes I had skipped on Friday. This happened only my senior year, I think. There were a couple classes I skipped on Friday because I was going to be going away for something that weekend, and I was like, I really don't wanna, I don't really wanna like start driving to this thing at like 5 o'clock at night, so sorry. But other than that, I really didn't skip a lot of classes. I'm trying to think. The only times I really did skip class were once again when my sciatica was acting up, especially junior and senior year. And there was one time I had the stomach flu, and it was really funny. No, the stomach flu wasn't funny. That wasn't funny. But it was really funny because I had the stomach flu. And so I remember I got it like kind of more like midday. So I was supposed to go to my night choir class, and I couldn't go. And so I let people know. And the next morning, I was texting a friend of mine. I was like, I think I'm feeling better. I think I can go to class. And she's like, Sarah, you can't go to class for like another day or two at least. I'm like, I don't know. I think never mind. I can't go. that was my like 2 days. So that happened. I've always been really bad about it. Even in high school too. I really had trouble skipping class unless I was really ill. It's just a typical anxiety thing. It wasn't even anything like my mom like instilled to me. She did say like going to school was important, but it was my own self like anxiety of like I can't miss classes at all. Because I think, and at the end of the day, I think the other real reason, especially in like high school, that I didn't like skipping school or missing class was because I loathe homework and catching up. I loathe it. And in grad school it's different because you're not really missing homework. You know what your homework's going to be. Like, that's not an issue. While in elementary school and high school or whatever, there are new assignments every day. So in high school it was worse because it was like there'd be a new assignment and I would have to figure out a way to catch up on it. And I hated that process. I just hated missing things. I hated having missed stuff and having to catch up with all of that and having to take extra time, because you're not really supposed to work on homework or anything when you're sick. You're sick, you're healing. But I still hated it. really did. I really do hate homework. I really don't like it. It's interesting because now, like, I mean, this is my last class for probably ever, you know? I'm not really planning right now getting a doctorate or anything like that. Maybe down the line, but certainly not right now. I'm planning on going into the workforce. So it's kind of funny. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't have school anymore. And I've been in school consistently for 6 years of school, of college school, you know, undergrad plus grad school plus, you know, all my years of elementary and up. So let's see, I started school when I was like, technically 3 or 4, and you know, that ended when I was 18, so that's like 15 years. So it's like over 20 years I've been in school, you know, and I haven't stopped. I never took a break from school. So, you know, some people take like a year off, or some people, especially after undergrad, may take some time off before they go to grad school, and nope, I went straight through. I did not stop. And so it's really weird now to be like, oh, I'm not gonna have school anymore. And there's pluses and minuses to that. I like school insofar as I like being in a classroom, I like being with peers, I like learning things, I love that process, but by golly, people, I hate homework. Like, I really hate homework. I think I've talked about this before. I can't tell it. Like this, I don't know what episode this is, 90 something. I'm sure I've talked about how much I loathe homework, but I'm going to bring it up again. You know, we talk about stress management and self-care a lot because I'm school social work, so it's an obvious component of that. And one thing that always makes me laugh is, you know, they talk about, you know, stress management with finals and with your homework and with school, and how balancing all is really hard. And a lot of teachers will try to say I've had professors say things like, well, you know, once you graduate, you're gonna still have paperwork and stuff like that. You're still gonna have to deal with all this stuff. It's not gonna be any less stressful. Which, the reason they're saying that is because the mentality you get a lot with people, especially in the school social workers, it's like, oh, you know, this is really stressful, but I'm just gonna deal with it, and then everything's gonna be easier and I can relax. When in reality, if you have anxiety, for instance, or depression from that kind of stuff, you actually need to learn how to deal with it in the now, not necessarily like it's good, not necessarily the mentality of it's going to get better, because technically it may not get better because you haven't solved the issue, the fact that you have anxiety or depression, etc., etc. Okay, from that point of view, I understand. Okay, fine. The problem with that logic, though, is it is inherently different in the workforce and schooling. I'm not saying like schooling is so much harder because, not necessarily, but I mean, yes, I know there's paperwork I have to do for work. I get that. And I also know that paperwork is important and that it's not just, willy-nilly thing, like you actually have to worry about it. But it's not like I have to worry about for a grade, for instance. It's a different stressor than that. Actually, that's not even the problem. It's not even the grade problem. That's actually not the problem. The problem is the timing. So the reason I hate homework, and I think I've expressed this, but the reason I hate homework is because you go through a full day of doing things, and then you come home, you're in your house, you go to your room, and all of a sudden, you have homework to do. Like, you sit there, and you're sitting on your computer, and you're trying to relax, you're eating dinner, and you're like, crap, I have something due tomorrow, or I have something due next week, and I need to get started on it soon. And when you have weekends, you can't even enjoy weekends if you have weekends off because you have homework due. Or if you're like me, you're thinking about how you have homework due and then don't get started until Sunday night, and then you're stressed out because I don't deal with things very well and I procrastinate all the time. But if I have a job, then I'm hopefully gonna do it at the workplace. May I sometimes have to stay longer? May I not get home till like 8 o'clock at night at times because I still have work to do? Yes, absolutely. Is that gonna suck? Yes, it will suck. But guess what? It's gonna be at the workplace. It's not gonna be home with me. I don't have to go home on my private computer and be like, wow, I still have things to do. Do you see the difference? And one little component that my teachers often very forget when they say things like this, and that pisses me off, is, I'm gonna get paid for the work I do. I'm not getting paid to do homework. I am paying to do homework, okay? Do you see this logic? I am paying to do work, extra work and stuff like that. Yes, it's for my education. I am still paying to do it. I am not, So I really get upset when they tell me these things, because it's like, I get it there's still gonna be stress factors, and I get that I still have papers to do, but come on! Sorry. just had to get that out there because I am so sick of professors telling me that when you get a job, it's going to be so much more stressful. And yes, some parts of it are going to be more stressful. For instance, one thing that I am worried about going to the workforce, as opposed to schooling, is especially like college school, not so much like high school. I don't miss like public schooling. It was fine. Like, it was fine where it was at. But I was one of those people where college was a good fit for me. And one of the reasons was you kind of make your own hours, and they can be odd hours of the day. You know, I could have classes like in the morning and at night, and then have, you know, time during the day to do whatever I needed to get done, or rest, honestly. And in the workforce, it's very often going to be either like 8 to 5, or, you know, it's going to be a huge block of time. It's not going to be broken up. I don't get to like rest in between my work. So that part does scare me. You know, I'm the kind of person, as you guys know, because of my energy levels and my sleepy issues, I really don't deal well with like, here's 8 hours where you don't get a break, except maybe a lunch break, but it's like 30 minutes and maybe it's an hour. But like, if you're just, you know, it really isn't a break, you know? It's not like I can nap, you know, during a lunch break. And that's a problem for me. I really don't have the energy level to keep doing stuff like that. I would do better in a work environment where it's like, I work for, you know, to get things done, and then I can take a break, and then I continue doing more work later. Because when you just give me a block of time, like, I'm actually more wasteful with that time, to be honest. Sometimes because I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, and other times, you know, especially if it's usually like an internship where things are winding down and stuff, and also just the matter of my energy level. I just don't have. If I'm sitting there and I'm trying to do things, you know, all at once, I can't. Like, I start to get sleepy, you know. And so it's interesting how that works out. But my point is that, yeah, not being in school anymore, there's some things I'm gonna miss. You know, I'm gonna miss the easy social interaction. I found it's easier for me to build up relationships with people when I'm in a classroom setting, as opposed to a work environment where I feel really like worried about my professional identity and stuff like that. But yeah, that's okay. Anyway, this ended up being a lot longer and got very ranty very fast. But that's fine. It all works out in the end. But yeah, so I'm gonna graduate in 2 weeks. Not this weekend, next weekend. And that's gonna be fun. And yeah, I also did get a ticket. I also passed by a car, but I wasn't speeding, so he didn't come after me. But I still got that like jolt of like, ah, a cop car. But all good. We're all good. So thanks you guys for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I hope something amazing happens to you. Without further ado, I hope to see you all in the next episode. Bye!